Hey everyone, and welcome to the Trader's Apprentice blog, episode 11. Another back to basics on Japanese candlesticks. Now again, this is a fairly introductory session and we're not going to go into too much depth and detail. You can study and cover that in other manners and I'll show you how. So what is a Japanese candlestick? The Japanese used a version of technical analysis to trade rice many centuries ago. In the late 80s, 90s, a gentleman named Steve Nissen discovered the technique of Japanese candlesticks. He learnt from a fellow Japanese broker. Excuse the spelling errors there, guys. He researched, studied, lived and breathed candlesticks, and he began to write about it. Obviously, he's famous for the Japanese candlestick charting techniques book, that, as you see here. And I just thought I'd pause here for a little bit longer and let the ladies appreciate what a beautiful man he is. What a mo, hey? What a guy. Okay, let's move on. Japanese candlesticks, so what are they? They're really just a pictorial representation of price action. They can be seen or used on any time frame from 1 minute up to the monthly chart. And what they represent is a body with two wicks or shadows, depending on what terminology you use. We will typically use wicks. So what they represent is for each time period or each session or time frame, so be it 1 minute, 3 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, whatever you nominate, it will show you the highest high, it will show you the lowest low, and depending on whether the bulls or bears won the session, it will show you the open and close, with the close lower, which is a bearish candle, or the open below the close, therefore green, and a bullish candle. Some charting software, chart cheat sheets and whatnot can sometimes show a solid box or body for a bearish candle and a hollow box or body for a bullish candle. We typically use green and red, as you see on all our charts. It's fairly straightforward. Okay, so the size and the shape are important. If you have a long body, that shows very strong buying and selling pressure. If you have a short body, obviously that's very little buying and selling activity. So it's important to take note of the size and shape, okay? Now, the shadows and the wicks, a long upper wick and a short lower wick, which means that the buyers flex their muscles and bid the prices all the way up to the top for the session high. However, for one reason or another, the sellers came back in and drove the prices right back down, ending the session near the opening price. On the other hand, if you have a longer lower wick and a short upper wick, this means that the sellers or the bears flexed their muscles and forced the price lower to session lows, but the buyers came back in and drove prices right back up, again ending the session near its opening prices. Now this price action is very important, okay, and we'll come back and touch on that later. Now just to recover some brownie points, I thought we'd show how to flex our muscles, another one for the ladies, okay? Alright, so some very basic shapes. Firstly, you have candles with long upper wicks and long lower wicks and a very small real body, and these are called spinning tops. The color of the real body is not that important. The pattern indicates indecision between buyers and sellers. A Marabozu, on the other hand, there are no wicks and there are quite large bodies. Depending on whether the candlestick is green or red, the high and low are the same as its open and close. These, for obvious reasons, are very bullish or bearish candles. Then you have the doji candlesticks. They have the same open and close price, or at least their bodies are extremely small. A doji should have a very small body that appears as a thin line. Doji candles suggest indecision or a real struggle between buyers and sellers. So we'll go through a few different styles of candlestick patterns. They normally come in single, double, and triple candlestick patterns, and we'll go through some of those now. So here's the single candlestick patterns, which show a bullish reversal type pattern, And the white candles here just denote that there's no real significance or importance on the color of the candle going in or out of the main candle pattern. So for a single candle pattern, we're looking at this one main candle in the middle here. Okay, so we've got the hammer, we've got an inverted hammer, a dragonfly doji, and a bullish spinning top. So what we're really seeing, if you look at it, and the thing for me is you don't have to remember all of these names and all of these patterns. You're looking for what the price is telling you, what the candle's telling you. Again, similar to what we said before, the sellers pushed the price all the way down to this low, and the buyers came back and pushed it right back up, showing really good buying pressure. So when you see this in this combination, you know that, well, there's a good chance that things are going to turn. It's very similar for the doji. You can see the same thing here. Okay, so then you have bearish single candle patterns, where you have the hanging man, the shooting star, the gravestone doji, and the bearish spinning top. Probably the shooting star and the doji are two of the most common that you'll see. We'll move on just quickly now. I want to try and keep this video fairly short, and you can obviously revise this or review it as many times as you want. So we've got the two candle patterns here. First, the bullish. Now the first one's a bullish kicker. Now this is something you probably won't see too often in crypto unless you're looking at a lower time frame or a very low liquidity token. As crypto is a 24-hour market, you don't tend to see these large gaps that you see in stock markets and equities markets and things. Then you have a bullish engulfing, which is a fairly renowned pattern where the body of the candle fully engulfs the previous candle, with this one being larger and green, therefore it's bullish. We have the bullish harami, which again is another bullish pattern which has gaps in it. Okay, so when the price gaps up, there's a nice little green candle. It's showing that the pricing and the action is starting to look a bit bullish. Piercing line, you're really not going to pick that one up too much on a chart, but one that you will see quite frequently is the tweezer bottom, focusing more so on the equal open and close price here, and the equal and fairly similar shaped wicks, which look like tweezers. Okay. Moving on, we have the bearish patterns. So again, a bearish kicker, bearish engulfing, bearish harami, dark cloud cover. Again, you're not likely to pick that one up too much. But then you have the tweezer top, which you'll see quite frequently also. I think the important thing is to concentrate on, what's going to stand out for you on a chart and what's going to grab your attention. Again, we have three chart patterns, bullish candles where we have morning star, we have abandoned babies, we have three white soldiers, which is one you'll see frequently. You have a three-line strike, a morning star doji, and a couple more there, which again, you're not going to notice them on a chart, okay? Unless you're really, really studying. Next up, we've got the bearish three candles, very similar, bearish baby, three black cows now, evening doji star. So really, that's just a quick run through a couple of different chart patterns there for you. Now, you're probably feeling a little bit confused or lost, and that's okay. There's plenty of time, and I'm going to give you more material to look at and to help you on your way here. And look, I just sort of throw one in there for the boys now. We have a nice pretty girl to make up for the last couple of photos. Okay, so look, as I said previously, the names for me, they're not really that important, but their price action really is. The candle tells you a story, and it's that story that's really important, okay? So what you need to know when you're looking at candles or a number of candles in a pattern is who's winning the battle, the bulls or the bears, right? So when you see these patterns that are here, I've just grabbed a few off a couple of charts, who's winning the battle here? Look, it's fairly straightforward. We've got a nice big green candle, a larger green candle, and we have a red candle, but it's a very much an indecision and doji candle with the price action up high. So obviously, the bulls are winning this one. So again, don't get too hung up on the color of the candle. Read what's happening in the price action. So it opened up here. The bears pushed it all the way down. Okay, the bulls came in and bought all the way back up, and it closed pretty much on the open. Okay. Next up, I have a couple more patterns. Again, who's winning the battle here? Well, quite clearly you can see in all of these that it's fairly bearish, right? Again, don't get hung up on the green candle. Look at the price action. it opened down here, the bulls pushed it all the way up, but the sellers or the bears came right back in and pushed it down. The colors are not necessarily that important. And I have seen many charts where people neutralize the colors. They use tones of gray, or they put them in hollow squares so that you don't get really distracted by the reds and greens. And I haven't done that yet, and I don't think I will. I think what you do subconsciously is actually adapt to the different tones of grey and see them as positive and negative anyway. But what's really important, I'm emphasising this a lot, is really to focus on what the candle is telling you, what story it's telling you. So obviously, yeah, look, the bears are winning that one. Okay, sorry about that. The next one, what about this time? Well, this time a little bit different. Okay. We have almost doji style candle bodies, and they're very central in terms of the picture of the whole candle. So these guys are fairly indecisive or neutral, so there's no real giveaway from those ones. Okay, so now I thought I'd quickly flick through a chart, and I haven't looked at this chart yet, so it's going to be fresh eyes on the chart, and let's see what we can find. Okay guys, so looks like I've opened up a Misi Go here, and I've got it on the 8 hour. So completely random, blank chart, nothing else here. We haven't got our indicators, we haven't got our averages. I just wanted to start with a really nice chart and start looking for things that really stick out for us, okay? First of all, you'll see a nice little spinning top here, which is a bearish spinning top, even though the color is green. It'd be very unlikely to pick something like that. But if you come over to this high, and you saw this candle, okay, let's put it over here so that you're watching this price action go up, and you saw the buyers push this candle all the way up to about $3.80, and then the bears came right back in and pushed it down to close near the open. We know that is fundamentally a shooting star. However, again, unless you're looking at a cheat sheet, you're not going to remember that or know that. But it's the price action that's really important, and look what happened. You know, price came away and started downtrending. Okay, we've got a nice little kind of double top there. The tweezers aren't quite perfect, so I wouldn't call that necessarily a tweezer top. And we'll keep looking through the chart and see what else we come across. Okay, here's a beautiful indecisive doji. Again, as price came up here, you can see the fight between the bears and the bulls, and the bears seem to win there. But again, there's no real pattern there, so it's really important to read the price action and what that's telling you. Wonderful looking shooting star there, but it's not really at the top, so I wouldn't call that as technical shooting star pattern. So again, whilst that price action is telling you something, don't get too hung up on the names. So let's continue through and see what else we can see. Okay, again, almost tweezer top action. Okay, very similar lengths, very similar closes and opens. So that's telling you that both of those candles tried to push higher, but the sellers have come in very strong, and obviously prices pulled away from there. Okay, what else have we got? A nice shooting star here. Again, little double top. Not quite perfectly a tweezer top. There's certainly a tweezer bottom right next to it. So that's a very good example of a tweezer bottom there. And we'll just keep flicking through. Has anyone seen a Marabazoo yet? That's very close in there, but unfortunately there's a very small wick. Okay. Look, there we go. Look, just a bit of an example. That's almost there, an inverted hammer. If that body closed a little bit lower. What else have we got? There we go. Beautiful tweezer top right there. Okay, very indecisive candle here. So a very big struggle between the bulls and the bears there. And even the two subsequent candles after that. Look at the price action. The bulls pushed it all the way up with the bears coming all the way back down. The next candle opens down here, pushed all the way down, then came all the way up and closed. Very big fight there between the bulls and the bears. So you'd be very hesitant opening a position when you see that kind of price action. What else have we got? Probably got a few bullish and bearish engulfing if we can find it. But that's what I mean. A lot of it you're not really going to be looking for on a day-to-day basis. You're really going to be looking for those sort of chart patterns or those candles that tell you a story. And that's, I guess, what I really wanted to get across to you guys, okay? So that's enough. We'll get back to the presentation here. So look, in terms of more references, babypits.com.au has a full educational section on candlesticks, and I highly recommend you go through that. And obviously, if you want to really get into the real guts and the detail of it, go to get yourself a copy of the Japanese Candlestick Charting Techniques book. It is on my list of books to read, but I haven't quite got there yet. Okay, as always, I have a bit of a gift for you. A couple of cheat sheets, so you can put them up on your wall or wherever you want to refer to these, okay? So babypips.com has a cheat sheet embedded in their educational course, and I'm going to attach to the Patreon post where this video will be sitting in Patreon an attachment that you can download, which is a candlestick cheat sheet, which has all the patterns that I described before, being single, double and triple candle patterns, both bearish and bullish. Okay. Again, I'll try and keep it quite short and concise. That's really just an introduction for everyone to candlesticks. I know I haven't gone into a lot of detail, but again, it's a never-ending story with this stuff. You can go into the utmost detail and read all the books in the world, but I think what you'll see Mitch do, what you'll hear from me is the candles will tell you a story. The names and memorizing 30, 40 different names, I don't really think is going to help you with your trading day to day. So again, close it out. If you've got any questions, obviously you can hit me up in Discord. And lastly, again, if you ever want to show appreciation or provide tips or whatever else, my addresses will be in the comments. Again, I'm just looking for your feedback. A good thank you or some feedback on how these videos are going for you guys would be welcome. And even more importantly, if you have any topics that you want me to start covering, this is video number 11, so I've covered quite a lot of the basics. If there's anything that you really want me to either hone in on more detail or something I haven't covered that you are looking for, please send me a message or hit me up in Discord. Alright guys, well that pretty much closes out this one. Thank you very much, and I will see you around.